Hello and welcome to this new version of Yak. That's version 103 and it's just a content update. So let's start with that. First, we've got a new collection of weeping trees that, of course, I made a forest of, so you'll see this in an instant. Next, we have two new medieval assassins, a man and a woman, each come with two variations. We've got an elf knight with lots of close variations and weapons. Very nice one as well. Then we've got a sort of elf pixie fairy. We've got a new large Scandinavian troll. He comes with four variations, and each of those variations can be equipped or not with his large weapon. We've got a new Aztec themes, as you can see. You've got many elements of tray for those of you who likes to build. You can build some many beautiful things, and of course I made a dungeon out of it that you'll see in a moment. We've got an ostrich, not the most impressive of birds, but really cool when mounted by a goblin, I can assure you. Next we've got some variation for a new mafioso with his weapons. We've got a new modern werewolf with jeans and shirt, and he also comes naked, so he can be used in a non-modern setup. Oh yes, for the next elements, if you're watching this with kids, you should skip the next couple of minutes because we have a new collection of horror objects and characters which can be a bit disturbing. So let's start with a collection of animal and human parts. We've got lots of them. I'm only showing you here a sample. So with that, you can make some that sort of setup, in a horror modern setup that would really work well. And of course, it could work also in the layer of any flesh-eating monster, a dark witch, a giant spider, an ogre. If you want to give a more gory look to your setup, you can. Some of those parts can be used as weapons, so that's kind of cool because now you can just kick someone in the face without moving your legs. Of course, you have to move someone else's legs, but that's another story. Next, we've got a collection of psycho killers. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. So we start with a freaky lady. She has her own handmade chainsaw. I don't know how to call that, but kind of cool. We've got a killer clown, we've got a brutal butcher, a crazy doctor, and a very evil doll here. So as you saw, they all come with their weapons. And so on. Next, we've got a new addition to an already existing collection in YAG, which is a very disturbing one. She's got unusually long arms and a strange face, and honestly, she has four variation, and this one is the only one that I can show on screen because it's the less disturbing of the four. So that's it for the new horror collection. Kind of cool if you like that sort of thing, of course. And next we've got, as you probably already noticed, a few sci-fi new elements. So first we've got a few ships, fighters, transporters, and a large destroyer here. We've got some very large, a big collection on a tray of buildings. This is only one object, and you've got some road elements, some doors, giant doors and walls. Let me close this one. So, and you've got some very large, this is only one element, as you can see, we've got some very large town elements here. Okay, so that's it for the pawns. Let's start with the Aztec theme. So first of all, you can admire the new forest here, the weeping forest. You can imagine that would be a good place for a witch to live, etc. You have here our Aztec temple, very beautiful. And as I told you, I also made a dungeon out of that theme. And you can see that it's a nice dungeon while the trees are computing. It's a nice dungeon, as you can see here, with rooms and corridors. Very nice theme here. Okay, so next, let's have a look at the a new giant metal city there. And just to show you, I'm gonna attach to this character here, and I'm going to unzoom just to show you the size of the city, the scale of the city. Okay, it's really, really a big one. But it's interesting gameplay wise, because let me accelerate a bit here. You can, fly inside the pyramids. You've got some three-dimensional buildings and elements that you can play with. You can have a three-dimensional action scene on all of those buildings. You can step on them. You can fly inside, between the buildings. And you can see here that the large destroyer that we had in the previous map is not so large here, but it's really nice looking. Okay, so giant city, kind of interesting gameplay-wise. Cool dungeon. So it's a dungeon. This is the default setting, of course. I didn't change anything except the pawns I put on it. Okay, so next, and to finish, the new concrete city I completely overhauled the city that I show in previous video, with the concrete um, buildings, and I mixed it with some elements of that new theme here. And you can see that the result is kind of cool. Just to show you the scale, it's a bit smaller than the previous one. You've got, as you can see, a system of roads, which is kind of nice. And just to show you the scale, I did put a few, I'm going to decelerate a bit, a few characters here. Okay, and I think I put a few, okay, here on the roof. So just to show you that the buildings here can also be used for some action theme. So it's kind of cool. All right, I think this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If it's the case, then of course see you in the next one with pleasure. Thanks very much and bye.